Today we're going to show you how to do a simple call to action. I'm going to show you how to make a like and subscribe button, but the call to action could be really anything. And so let's go ahead and start by building off of our last video. You saw that we showed you how to animate a simple icon with a glyph shape animated. In our case, it was a bell. And we're going to carry forward and make this about, sort of the like and subscribe metaphor of YouTube and help people remember to click the bell for notifications when they subscribe to our content. So let's go ahead and start with that simple bell. I'm in a 4K project and I'm going to go ahead. I have a 500 pixel icon, and check the description. That's where you'll find this asset so you can follow right along with me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by changing my canvas size to say a 50% gray or so. That just helps me to ensure that I'm designing this properly for all types of content that this bell could be animating over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down so it's still centered, but it's just above the bottom portion of the canvas. And we're going to have it animate in with a call to action message. So let's first start by just drawing a simple text box. And I'm just going to go ahead and line things up here. And I'm mostly just eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be exact. And I'm going to go to about 10% to 20% on the edge for margin. And then let's go ahead and left align this, change the typeface to Futura. Source Sans Pro ships with Camtasia. That's a good one to set with the Bold family, and or Roboto is another decent one that you could get a similar result without having to purchase any additional fonts. So let's bring the font size up to, let's say, 145, and let's say our message, right? In this case, level up your videos. Now I want to go ahead and deselect resize text, just because as I fiddle with this, I don't want to lose this nice big size that I've established. But one of the things you'll notice is when you have two lines of copy, if you have that second line only for a short word, go ahead and find ideally another short word above. Try rephrasing so you get this nice chunk, this nice block of things for your viewer to read. It just goes a lot smoother for the reader. So if I go ahead and stretch this out, I'll go full duration. So now I have this nice simple lower third call to action. Well, now what we're going to do is put a little background behind it. So let's go ahead and put the bell above all of this. Whoops. And let's go ahead and move over to the bold style set and over to shapes. And I'm going to grab one of our bold rectangles, and I'm just going to try my best to align it to this icon. I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit. Now we know that this icon is 500 pixels tall, so I'm going to navigate over to the media properties in the properties panel. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it and say 500 pixels. And now let's hope that Camtasia snapping does us some favors here, and it looks like we're pretty darn close. So let's go ahead and go all the way to the left, and I'm going to go ahead and just give myself plenty of extra space, because when I group this, you'll see I'm going to want some additional room for larger content, right? Maybe more, more verbose call to actions. So now I'm going to go ahead and move over to the fill, and I'm going to set this to black. And just like that, you see we have a pretty nice, I'm just going to make an adjustment here. I'm just moving it down, and it is pretty nice looking. So how do we actually have this come onto screen though? As we're sitting right now, I don't think this is super interesting. I think we can do better. So let's go ahead and animate it coming into view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this icon, this bell, sort of swing into view. So that first sort of bell movement, I'm going to have it come all the way into view, and then it's going to stop like right here-ish, and then it's going to swing right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and what I'm going to do to accomplish this is I'm going to go ahead and group these two things. Actually, I'll group all of these things for now, because I'm going to make another subgroup in here. So I'm going to go ahead and call this group animated CTA, and I might as well uncaps. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go ahead and now group the notification bell with the call out background, and I'm going to go ahead and call that icon with background, or BG is what I would abbreviate that to. So if I go for here now, I'm going to go ahead and animate these things into view. So I'm going to go, I know where my playhead is right now. That's where I want that initial animation to stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually animate, go to custom animations, and I'm going to animate nice and short. Whoops. nice, about half the duration of the defaults for animations. And I'm at the very beginning of that. I'm at the small tail, which is the start keyframe. And I'm gonna go ahead and hold shift, and I'm gonna move this over off screen, and then I'm gonna hide my call to action for now. We're gonna come back to the call to action copy. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like. I hit spacebar, okay? And I have a nice little animation. So if I were to show you what this looks like with the copy, you see the copy just kind of shows up out of nowhere. How we want to get around this is we're going to have this copy become sort of affected by a track mat. But before we do that, we want to make sure we have all of our animations in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have this come on. I just want to get a feel for it. Swings on, and what it's going to do is it's going to swing right back. So then it's right about here. I'm going to go ahead and have it swing back, okay? So I'm going to bring down a custom animation, and I'm going to go about half that speed, and let's go ahead and go back over, and let's go ahead and have it go right to about here, just so it'd be covering that copy, okay? And let's hide that copy again. And then I'm going to have it animate right back out, not too long after that. And let's just get a feel for where we're at. Okay, so right here, right about here-ish is where it's going to animate back out. And we're going to go about at that same pretty fast duration. So going to move this back. Yep, so right here is where, we're going to have it animate back out. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to move this down even a little bit more. And I'm going to have it animate all the way back out to that edge. Again, looking at my copy. And let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Now you can see I'm using the bell swinging to try to help me gauge how I want this movement to look. Because I want it to look like the bell is being sort of driving this thing coming out. And that's just going to give the eye this sort of natural, oh wow, this is all connected, and make it feel intuitively, like it's one object, right? These things are sort of mechanically working together. So let's go ahead and hit spacebar again and preview it, and we get that swing, and it swings back out. And once we get it back out that last time, I want it to go ahead and come right back again. So I'm going to have it right about here. I'm going to have it go ahead and come all the way back in. So I'm going to drag this here, and I'm going to go nice and fast, and we're going to have it go all the way back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and show our call to action, and let's go ahead and come back, and we're going to come out, it slides out, slides in, it slides out, it slides back. Happens all pretty quickly. So what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to show you how to do this with two pieces of copy. So the first one we know ends, and it's no longer visible right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select my call out now, and I'm going to do a Command T, I guess it's Control S, I believe, on Windows to do a split. Now I have two blocks of copy that I can work with, or call out text boxes, and I'm going to go ahead and call this one the let's go ahead and call this like and subscribe. Okay, so that's what I'll put here, like and subscribe, and that is my second call to action. Hey, why not throw a little exclamation point at the end? Okay, so it slides back, and that's when the next thing is going to slide on, and then it's off. And I think that last little bit might be happening a little too fast, but I'll show you how we're going to work with this. We'll go ahead and pull this back so that we have just a little bit more, and then that's about the right room. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, now that we have our animation about right for the actual bell animation, I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to group this. So Command G, I group this, and I'm going to call this let's see, bell with background animated. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to paste it right above. Whoops, I copied the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and try this again. Paste that. I'm going to use this as the mat now, so you'll see what I mean as I do this. So I'm going to go rename group. I'm going to call this bell. Let's call this lower third mat. Okay, now how this is going to work is I'm going to go ahead and do a right click on the eyeball for track 3 where that pasted shape was, and I'm going to say do an alpha. Okay, so that means that shape now, it's ignoring those colors. It's just saying where is their media, and we're going to allow information to poke through. So watch what this looks like. There's going to be some additional things we need to do, but let's go ahead and preview it. So you can see our copy comes in, but the thing is it's kind of getting covered by that bell. That's kind of a drag, isn't it? So that bell icon, or I should say the copy is covering that bell, and we're not able to see that really cool bell that we made. So let's go ahead and go into that group, and we're going to use an additional mat. So I'm going to go into the icon with background. So I'm in the mat group, and then inside of the second group inside of that mat group that we were using. And now I've got my notification bell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an alpha invert. And just like that, you can already see what's happening. Let's go ahead and spacebar. Now that bell icon is not letting that text through. So that mat that we have here, if we drive back into that group, we go to that lower third mat, I'm going to go ahead and solo it, option click on the Mac, and that is the shape that we've created for our mat. And so as we're going through, you can see that it's animating in and out, and if I unsolo it, it's just allowing that information through. And you can see it's actually timed pretty well. So let's go ahead and preview this, and let's see if there's any additional tweaks that we want to make. Okay, so I do want to make one little tweak, and that's just what the bell is doing. So let's go ahead and look at that last tweak. You can see the bell again, it's not making a very natural move when it animates back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into this bell and drive into the notification bell icon. So I'm a few levels deep here grouping wise, and I'm just going to take a look and just see what I can really quickly shore up. So we've got this bell, it kind of swings back, it swings down. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move these things around here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this down a bit, and I'm going to move this down. And I'm kind of hacking my way through this so that you guys can all see that this can be done really quickly. And let's just see what this looks like. It goes here, and we're going to have this next one go here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have this one swing out to about here. We're going to actually exaggerate where it's swinging because we know that it's going to start animating. Let's see. So we go like this, and we'll move this down a little bit, and I think we'll move this down just to kind of make up for it. So let's see. We'll go here, and that's when it should swing back down. So let's see what it looks like here. And I want that next animation to start right then. So let's go ahead and see if we can get an extra swing in there. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it really quickly whip back. All right, so we're gonna go to that front tail, and it's gonna whip back really fast. And let's just stretch this out a little bit, whoops, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, and we're gonna shorten it up, and it's whipping back, and that means it needs to, as it's going back, it needs to whip back forward. So let's just see what that looks like. Let's just see if it's something too disjointed. If it is, we can always polish further. So let's go ahead and hit space bar. Slides back here and whip. Ooh, I kind of liked that. Not the way I had intended it, but I will say sometimes in motion graphics, you get happy accidents. So we're gonna cut it right there. Like and subscribe to this video. Be sure that you check out the notification bell and check out the previous videos that we've done too. We've got a lot more content coming your way. There's so many cool things you can do in Camtasia, and honestly, if I had more time, we would already have probably a dozen more videos. It's an extremely powerful tool. A lot more content coming your way. Thank you for tuning in, and if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. Have a great one.